This video is brought to you by Squarespace. I'm updating my sample boards this week and making some new ones for my clients to have. It's so nice to be able to have something tangible that you can leave with your client or discuss with them in person, and they can hold it and touch it and feel it and put it in their space and get a great feel for it. So I thought, what better time to go over these finishes in detail with you guys than while I'm making them anyway. All right, so first thing I did was clean them, and then I went over them with this liquid sandpaper, which I've been loving lately. It creates a chemical abrasion on the surface, and then you don't even have to clean away the residue. All you have to do is paint. Since I'm just using regular household paint on this project, I am using primer first, and you can choose any kind of primer that you want to, or if you're using a different kind of paint that doesn't need a primer, then go for it. And this is just a water-based primer. And again, I didn't really have any damage on these. These were pretty much brand new drawer cabinet fronts that you can get at any local hardware store. And I actually found these on Facebook Marketplace for free. When I apply primer, I usually put on a very thin coat, and I try to brush from one end. First, I'll just kind of get it on there. And I am working in a garage out of the sunlight, so things are not drying up too quickly, and I have a little bit of time to move the paint around before it dries up on me. And then I will just kind of get the paint on there, and then I'll work at smoothing it out. And I want to go from one end to the other to create more grain like brush strokes. And so brush strokes are definitely not a bad thing in this project. We are going for that wood look, and so the more texture the better, but you want it to go all in the same direction. Then I'm using some Glidden. This is just the cheapest paint they have in a semi-gloss, and the color is called Rugged Tan. Now, if you have been around for a while, you know how long it took me to figure out what color was the best base for creating this Pottery barn finish. And it surprised me that it ended up being this color, but this is the perfect one. And I went in the store and matched it like a crazy person for weeks trying to figure this out. And so Rugged Tan is definitely the color you want for that sea drift or Sausalito finish. Then you're going to go in with the Decorative Glaze from Rustoleum, and I find that at Home Depot or online. And then you'll need a fluffy brush. I usually recommend a deck staining brush, but I'm just going to go more beginner on this and just assume that you've got a big paintbrush, versus a deck staining brush. But if you want to go and get the deck staining brush, that's awesome. And then you're just going to apply the glaze. Of course, you want to stir it first, right? You're going to apply the glaze with a regular paintbrush. The goal here is just to get a thin coat of glaze all over the surface. What I see most people making the mistake of is actually applying too much glaze. And I've done that before as well. And sometimes you go for that on purpose because you're trying to create a darker finish. And so, but as I've honed this skill and been practicing this, I have found that just a nice as thin as you can possibly get it is actually the best. And bonus, it dries faster if you get the thin coat on there. If you get a thick coat on there, it's going to take a few days to dry. So with this coat, you just want to, I dipped it in, I think 2 times for the total drawer, and wiped off each time on the sides of the can before I applied it. And so I'm just trying to smooth it all out, get it all the way on there. You can see in some spots it looks a little sparse, and some spots a little more heavy, but just try to get it as even as you can with that first brush. And then you're going to go in with a dry, fluffy paintbrush and smooth it out. Now, working on one drawer, I do just try to hit around all the edges, kind of go around it, and then at the very end, I'll work on smoothing it all out. Now, this is beautiful in its own right, and you could honestly stop here. I think I did it this way before figuring out other ways in the beginning. I've been doing this finish for a long time now, and it really saved my business because it's so in demand. People want this type of finish. It fits so many decor styles. You can add a little bit more, like if you notice that it's a little too light. Then I'm going in with this kids broom that I find at the dollar store, but you could use any kind of broom, small broom that you would like. And I've used many on the channel. I do like this one a lot because it's only $1 at the Dollar Tree, and it is very gentle on the paint, so I don't scratch the paint when I go to brush it, because the broom bristles, because it's a child's toy and not a real broom, are so soft that they just take away the perfect amount of paint. So I really like these. Now, I got a hair in the finish, of course. If you get any debris in your finish and the paint is still wet, I think it's worth it to fish it out and try to remove it. But if your paint is slightly dry, you can just wait till it's a little bit more dry and then pick it out. And then I just go from one side to the other with the broom right over top of that little trim bump. I just treat it all like a flat surface. For the sides or the lip, you just want to pick a direction and stick with it for that little section. And so here you can see on the bottom, I just go the length of the drawers, and then for the sides, I went like forward and back. And the most important thing is to do these last. So the order that I'm doing everything in this video is actually strategic and on purpose. And so pay attention to that order as you go and try to recreate the look. And starting from working, I sort of start with the middle, work my way out to the edges is a good way to look at it. And I always work in sections. So, treating the drawer front as one section, treating the little lip as one section. I'll treat the side of the dresser as one section, the top, and so on and so forth. The next thing we're doing is dry brushing, and if you're not familiar with dry brushing, you're just going to use this cheap chip brush from the hardware store, and then you just want to dab the tiniest amount of paint on the brush tips, and then also dab that on a cloth that you have nearby, and then drag it so gently across the top of your furniture piece. And then you see I got a little heavy-handed there and wiped it away with my fingers, or you can wipe it away with a towel. The great thing is if you mess up, you can actually wash this off if your piece is fully dry, the previous coat is fully dry. That's another message that I get a lot too, is people will go to do the next section and their previous coat of paint or glaze or whatever wasn't dry yet. So, make sure your piece is dry. That glaze can really take a few days to dry, even up to a week, depending on your weather and how thick the glaze was. Now we want to protect that beautiful finish by using a polyurethane. You can go with a water-based or an oil-based polyurethane. Oil-based polyurethane will be stronger and more durable and scratch resistant, but will also yellow over time or amber over time. So it's a personal choice. If you're doing a tabletop, I would go with the oil-based. If you're doing a coffee table, definitely oil-based. Anything that's going to get a lot of usage and especially water around it, I would go with the oil-based, because water on top of an oil-based finish isn't going to phase it one bit. But for most projects like dressers in a bedroom or, a small console table or something, a water-based polyurethane is going to be sufficient and very durable. I generally apply 2 layers of whatever top coat I'm using, but sometimes I'll even apply up to 4 layers depending on the usage that piece is going to get and all that information that goes into hand. But for normal usage, 2 coats is good. So there it is. I love that matte finish. I feel like it really adds to the wood look. It's so nice to be able to have this physical sample to make plans with, to discuss with the designers or clients, and I feel like it really makes me feel more prepared and feel more professional, and therefore, worthy of the prices that I'm charging and all that. So I just really like having samples, and I hope you guys will try these as well. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring it. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to create your website. Connect with your audience and generate revenue through gated, members-only content, manage your members, send email communications, and leverage audience insights, all in one easy-to-use platform. Create a community on your Squarespace website with a fully integrated commenting system that supports threaded comments, replies, and likes. Use their powerful blogging tools to categorize, share, and schedule your posts too. Extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. Display posts from your social profiles on your website and automatically push website content to your favorite social media channels so your followers can share it too. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/blacksheephouse to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.